You give up 100, you give up 70 points in the first half. You're not kidding. What are you doing?
I'm fixing my seat. I'm fixing my seat.
What is Kenny doing?
I'm fixing my seat. What? I did not do that.
Fixing your seat.
I did not do that. Fixing my seat.
Man, guys, come on now.
Hey, oh, come on, man. I'm just saying, nothing surprised me.
Well, hello, good people, and happy April Fool's Day, man. I hope everybody's having a great day. I've actually done something I haven't done in April Fool's. I got people not once but twice, because this morning I had the Cowboys trading for Myles Garrett, and just a few minutes ago I did another one about A.J. Brown just got traded to New England. And so I've got Eagle fans that are losing their shit right about now and having a hissy. And if you fell for it twice, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This is my thing. April Fools, it's not just enough to put out an April Fool's thing. You got to sell it. And you got to have the right timing for it. See, I catch people when they're still half asleep and they see this and they forget. They don't know what day of the week it is. And I get them. I got that thing is still that whole Myles Garrett thing. People, I didn't see it anywhere else. Where's your source? And it's like, April Fools, people, April Fools. Shout out to Overdrive with the first super chat. Oh, man. Boy, I tell you what, shout out to you with the super chat. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and enter the studio. I'm a little bit late. You know, I got my day job that's going on right now. And so I've been working and running and doing all kinds of stuff. But that house is getting closer and closer, although I might have a really big project that'll be going on this summer. It's Chris. Hey, I'm sorry. It's Chris May. What's up, Chris May? It's the lovely and talented Holly Pierce. It's Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. We got Broken Halo in the house. Shout out to you. Let's see who else is here. A-Crown. What's going on? Thank everybody for showing up here. We're getting ready for the Dan Selio show. See if I can set off Comic Flick Fusion. What's going on? Let me go ahead and enter the Thunderdome here.
Mark Holmes is going to have a fucking field day today.
What did I miss?
He's going to have a field day.
Oh, my.
Can you blame him? You're having a field day. I'm having a field day. Everybody's having a field day with this thing.
Listen here.
Wait a minute. Did I miss something?
Philly.500 shows up.
Yes, absolutely. Philly.500 is a man of his word. He is not going to shy away from the moment. In fact, Philly.500 will probably do a much better job than me at defending Hurts.
Uh-oh.
How can you defend us? What do you have to defend?
You mean the bus driver?
I don't feel the need to defend him.
The only way you can defend that article is attack the guys.
I didn't see the article.
Information. It's the only way you can attack.
Yeah, true. Kill the messenger.
Shit. That's what people do. Shit. Wait till the Bob Lang specials come out this week. John's going to be called into a teepee, You know when the popes go into that room and you see the smoke coming out? You'll know John's in the room with the rest of those guys, and you'll see smoke, and there'll be a new message coming out.
Oh,
damn. We have a new message.
Uncoachable.
For His Highness Jalen Hurts. And His Highness is the face, according to Jeffrey Lurie. Without a doubt, his son, lost. And we really love the fact. And here's Jalen Hurts, the face of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Now, are we sure that this is an April Fool's joke?
For her.
This might be an April Fool's joke.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
dude.
Lord.
Holy shit. I don't even see articles written like that about Dak.
No.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Oh,
no.
shit. Man.
This guy says, do I enjoy crapping on Jalen? Look at this. Do you actually enjoy crapping on Jalen Hurts? Dude, have you been listening to me all summer? I found every fucking excuse for Jalen Hurts this summer. I was shredding A.J. Brown,
shit.
Giving Jalen an out. What do you want me to do here, bro? I didn't write the fucking article, Poor Little Lamb. Whatever the hell your name is.
Poor Little
Lamb. I didn't write it. I mean, it's not a great article. It doesn't look good on the quarterback. It doesn't. It doesn't look good on any of them. I don't think it looks good on Sirianni either, who's got to get it. You know that old saying, get your house in order? Come on, Nick, get your damn house in order.
I'm going to read that nice lullaby to Mark Holmes and to Philly.500 from Jeremy Fowler and them, and I can't wait to see the faces. Mark Holmes is going to go nuts. Let's get to some of these supers we have here, Z.
Do we got any today?
Do we?
Mikey says, F offensive ball from Wishbone Hurts to 4 verts Hurts. Kimberly says Julian versus Sean Lennon, Jeff's unwanted son.
Oof.
Brian says we better hope Minion calls persistent West Coast to prove Hurts can't run a pro style offense to get him out of here. Otherwise, Lurie is going to pay him. I don't think Mannion has that type of swagger.
No way. No way. Hey, here's a question based on Brian here. How long a leash do you think that Sean Mannion has? Because remember Big Sills' bold predictions. Week 6, he's out.
Brian says Petunia got egged because his QB wouldn't run his plays.
Oh, this is going to be fun, man.
Petunia.
Oh, shit.
That's the
I thought Jalen Hurts news was April Fool's joke. Glad it was real.
Petunia.
What's their name? What's their name in that movie? The Dursleys. Petunia Dursley. JD says Hurts is the prevent offense. He might be. Kimberly says, I guess we're drafting Garrett Nussmeier. Oh, please, no. They'd rather draft Ty Simpson at 23.
I'd rather draft Garrett's. I'd rather draft his dad.
Philip says, maybe if AJ didn't cry 24/7, Jalen wouldn't feel obligated to force him the ball every game.
There you go. Keep blaming the other guy.
Well, maybe if Hurts was willing to line up under center a couple more times or do what the coaches wanted, then AJ wouldn't be crying. They both are crying. By the way, this is where I disagree with Cilio. They're both crybabies. Both of them. Alvino says, poor Verts Hurts.
Look at that. Y'all eating your young now.
Winning Super Bowls with man. Quarterback. Oh, that's going too far. Double O Justin Credible says, the Eagles never had patience at quarterback, even going back to Jaws, Randall, McNabb, and Wentz. They move off quarterbacks fast. When they see a problem in character or gameplay, they kick them to the curb. Yeah, well, the owner has to be the one to see it.
Yeah.
And the owner loves Jalen Hurts and doesn't see any character problem.
Dude, GMs and head coaches don't move off of $250 million quarterbacks. That's an owner thing, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Oh, my goodness. Philly.500 is going to need to come in here and kick some ass today because I can't
division game last time.
This is a message to Mark Holmes. Win a division game. Last time they did that was 95, year I was born. Back then, Tupac, Eazy-E, and Selena were alive.
That's okay. Deflect.
Oh,
okay.
my God, dude.
Oh, shit, man. My bad. I didn't send Philly.500.
Oh, sure you didn't.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah, my fault.
You're trying to give him a pass here.
My bad, 500.
Holy
God. My God.
All right, get me out of here. I got to listen to this battle royale and hear what Philly.500 has to say.
Hey. Do you notice how Holmes has been in like just a great mood? Like
the Cowboys love the offseason. Cut them some slack, dude. The guy they haven't won a division game since 95.
Okay. Let's fall back on that.
You got to find some enjoyment in life, though, don't you? I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about football. If your team doesn't win games, you got to find in the big moments. You got to find ways to enjoy the other stuff.
The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a division game since '95.
I don't know if that's true or not. Mark will have the answer.
I know they won.
We haven't been to a divisional game.
Cowboys won a divisional.
They won a playoff game against the Bucs a couple of years ago.
No, it's a divisional playoff.
The Dallas Cowboys last won a divisional playoff game on January 7th, 1996, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles 30-11.
Where was that game played?
I don't know.
I think that game was in Dallas, no?
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a sec. Probably was. The Cowboys were good as shit in 96.
Yeah, they still had Aikman and them dudes.
Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
No.
Yeah, it would be.
No, 95 was the last one, I believe, right, Mark?
The Super Bowl would have been.
Yeah, they beat the Eagles.
96.
That was it doesn't tell me. Here's the box score.
What team's on the bottom? Team on the bottom.
Yeah, it was at Texas Stadium.
Okay. Yeah.
Barry Switzer was the coach. All right, good stuff. Get me out of here.
Oh, my God.
I need to sleep on this article. I'm going to read it a couple more times.
Are you kidding me, man? I'm going to print that and put it up on my wall like it's a poster.
Z wasn't born, correct. I was born in May of 1998.
Boy, look at
May of 1998.
Damn.
Unbelievable.
98.
What's about to happen here?
What's about to happen?
The truth. The
Oh,
justice,
shit.
and the Big Sills way.
Ooh, the truth.
That's
the
about
big
what's
Sills.
going to happen.
Oh,
Bro, I love
he's
you. I'm
opening
done
up a
with you
fresh
Get
can.
me off this show. Get me off this program.
Hey,
Oh,
I will see you in the
shit.
morning, and you'll have a lot more to talk about, I'm sure, by morning.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
thank you, brother.
You
Appreciate
bet,
it.
brother. Love you, man. Talk
Love
to you
you.
soon, man. We're going to go over this article tooth and nail here. Let me go back to the top before I get both these fellas in here. Inside Eagles 2025 friction as Jalen Hurts stands at a crossroads in his career. Now, remember something. The only way that you're going to dispel these guys who are in the building that cover the Eagles
this
is
is
if you
gonna be
shit on the
fun.
messenger. That's the only thing. And by the way, when people say this, sources, the president of the United States, Richard Nixon, was taken down by sources. They weren't naming people when they took down Nixon and Nixon resigned. Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus, to get back in that building again, remember something, folks. To get back in that building again to cover the Eagles, they can't write bullshit They can't write bullshit stories. Or you're not going to
It's
be
still
invited
April
back into
Fools
the
now.
building.
It's still April Fools.
All right. I'm going to read the first line here, then we're going to introduce both gentlemen here. Supposed to save the season, instead, it encapsulated its pain. The
Pain.
Eagles were teetering, poised for a Jenga-like collapse in front of a fanatical home crowd. Scared from a challenging 2025 season of offensive football. 43 seconds left in the wild card game against the 49ers. The offensive coordinator, KP, fiddled with his red pen and then scanning the play sheet. Quarterback Jalen Hurts stood in front of them, leaning in to speak to his play caller. Nicky Sirianni was there nearby listening to the chatter. A few assistant coaches and Tanner McKee were in earshot of this. Petula addressed Hurts, and Sirianni directly suggested what appeared to be a play call for a game-deciding fourth down. Sirianni made eye contact with Petula, then looked at Hurts as if to get his input. Four Verts Hurts is now the new name that is being coined after this scathing dossier that was written by Tim McManus and Jeremy Fowler. Without further ado, to retort these comments, the man, the myth, the legend that is one of the top, if not the top, Dallas Cowboy content creator, our friend Mark, Dallas Cowboys Holmes, and
What's up?
my friend, the legend, Philly.500 coming in, and he's coming in strong. How you doing, fellas?
I'm
What's
doing
up,
good.
my man? How are you?
I'm doing
How are
great.
you guys doing? How are you doing here, Mark? How are you feeling today?
You know, I'm actually going to toss you a bone. Just a possible out here on this whole article. Because, see, I'm the master of April Fools. Okay? I understand that you got to be up early. You got to be first. So when that fucker is waking up in the morning and he sees the clip that the Dallas Cowboys trade 3 picks for Myles Garrett, they believe it. And that shit goes viral. And as we sit here right now, I got Eagle fans that are losing their shit because I've doubled down and said A.J. Brown just got traded to New England. So could it be that this article is the biggest April Fool's prank there is?
No.
First off, I called 2 days ago. Yesterday also.
Go ahead.
The first thing you'll see from Mark Holmes is saying that the Dallas Cowboys traded for Myles Garrett and beat out the
Okay.
Eagles. So everybody knew it was coming.
Yes, that sucker is still going viral.
Very predictable.
Okay. Still going viral there, buddy.
Just want to put that out there.
Okay.
So,
Let
Philly,
it go viral.
I'm not sure if you read the entire article. But
I did. I have. I've
all
read
right,
it.
you know what?
Twice.
Without polluting it and putting a bad question out there for you, because you say that I jump off the top rope at you at times.
No, I didn't.
What was your takeaway?
If we're being completely honest, I think there's a lot of truth in the article. There's a lot of truth in what is being said. That doesn't mean we get the full context or we're only getting one side of the situation. I think they put a good article out in terms of, I think they put out what they were told. I would love to know who the source is, but I think they're relaying what they were told. I believe that part of it. And I think there's some truth. We know there are limitations that Hurts has. Nobody has ever disputed that. So I think some of it, I think there's grains of truth in it. And then I think there's parts that are just one-sided on whoever's source's motivation may be, which we don't know.
How about some of the comments that there's an indication that he's hard to coach? I mean,
yeah, this is one of those things that I always scratch my head, because you hear that come up, but then you hear from all these other coaches that he was one of the great joys to coach. He was a great player to coach. He's one of the easiest guys to coach. So I've heard both sides of that argument many, many times. So I don't know how to take it.
How about this, though? And Mark, I'll ask you next here in a sec. Mark, if I had a coach who had never called plays before and calling defenses, and I was on a defense and I had played 10 years, you'd be hard to coach me too. When I know more than you and I've been in the league. So could it be some of that, Philly, that, you know what? You keep hiring these inexperienced guys. Now you got another inexperienced guy rolling in.
Well, and so this is what I don't get. If the problems are Hurts' resistance against under center, play action, motion, you go out and you hire a guy that's what he wants to do.
I don't get.
That makes me really wonder who the source is. They were obviously close enough to see the expressions on Nick Sirianni's face and Jalen Hurts during that last play call, which Nick Sirianni had no problem approving. So, when I hear things like that, it makes me wonder what the hell's going on.
Mark, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
I think it's Jeff Stoutland.
Could be.
I think it's Kevin Patullo.
You know what? I'm just happy. Listen,
but wait, Mark, get this. Why would Kevin Patullo and Nick are boys, and Nick protected him? Remember, Kevin Patullo wasn't fired. He was demoted. And until he got that job in Miami, remember, Nick protected him. But who was the guy who had an ass on the way out the door? The guy who they pushed out and had an ass.
Possibly. But also, you got to remember, Patullo was technically, after a while, still on the team. How long were they working on this article? And who's the one guy who blamed everybody else all the time except for himself? Patullo.
Mark, what was your takeaway in this article?
Actually, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm happy just watching Philly melt down here on this one. But here's
this isn't a meltdown.
Okay. Here's what I will say, though, okay, because we've been in kind of a situation here where you have the team talking about how much they loved Micah Parsons and things. But from time to time, you would get like a little bit of a blip where you hear that things weren't savory. Now, of course, the team is never going to go through and say, Jalen Hurts sucks and he's uncoachable. They're always going to defend the player out in public. But with Micah Parsons, we heard that inside the building, there were a lot of coaches that were kind of sick of his stick. You heard some little pieces from different players on the roster that are kind of saying, when we're getting run on all the time and you're out there doing a podcast and stuff, maybe you ought to concentrate. So there may be where there's a little bit of smoke with Jalen Hurts there and things aren't going right, that there is a soft underbelly current where it's not
There's
good.
Definitely some truth to it. There's definitely some truth within the article. I am definitely not saying that that's not the case, because I think there is. We know that he's got things he's got to work on. We know he's got limitations. And I don't think it's a stretch to see a quarterback. How many quarterbacks in this league want to do what they think works best and what they're comfortable with? So I think that all those things are not necessarily false at all.
Mark, to go with what he just said, Philly, and it's a great point what he said. Why do you hire a Kyle Shanahan guy when Hurts has been pushing back and going under center and turning his back to the defense? Why are you hiring that? Make that make sense to me. When you elevated Schottenheimer, Schottenheimer was there because he was He was the coordinator that fit the skill set of Dak and tried to make Dak a better player. Philly, why do you hire a guy against things the guy does and he's limited at?
Against things he fights that he fights. He just doesn't like. He fights the coaches on it. Does that make any sense to you? Because
I can tell you what it is.
Tell me.
When you don't want to be the bad guy, the team can't just come out and say, we're going to get rid of a $250 million quarterback. You make it uncomfortable so that way they're the ones that raise the
they're pushing him out the door.
That might be because, you need a plausible deniability here. Listen to me here. If that is the owner's guy and the owner wants to keep him and you are like, I can't coach this guy, I need to get rid of him. You try and make it as uncomfortable as possible so that way it becomes ugly. Then you've got no blame.
Philly, let's just say that what Mark is saying. Just okay, put it out there like this. And
one problem with that.
But wait, go like this with it. This is why maybe that glazed donut conversation
on A.J. Brown.
Lurie doesn't want to be made to look like the bad guy when they push this guy out. And I'll ask you this. You're right, Philly. Why hire people? Dude, it's like hiring a bus driver to be an airplane pilot. Why in God's name are you putting a guy in a building that has nothing to do with the quarterback skill set unless there was something else you're trying to do? Now, look, that sounds like self-sabotaging the 26th season, and I don't believe that. But this doesn't make sense.
Well, the problem with that, and I get Mark's point, and it's not a bad point, but the only thing I'll say to that is if they have a bad season to the point where Jalen Hurts is going to go, then Nick Sirianni's looking for a new job. He ain't going to last either. So you're going to tell me that he's willing to get himself fired to get Jalen Hurts out of there? You know?
He won 2 Super Bowls for the franchise.
So you think they're connected, Philly?
Who took them to 2 Super Bowls, Mark? The same quarterback you're talking about pushing out. It's the same thing.
No, but I'm saying he's the GM who has won with 2 different quarterbacks. One who was a no-name
I'm talking about the coach, not the GM.
Oh, the coach. Well, yeah, the coach. But okay, I'll give you that one. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, but wait, Mark. Here's the thing at Philly, though. These coaches are interchangeable to them. They think it's more about their process, and they think it's more about the GM and the head coach than the players and the coaches. That's why look at the coordinator changes.
Yeah.
Look at all the assistant coaching changes. Look at all the facts that you're looking at. All the coaching staff constantly get changed. You know why? They believe it's them. They believe they're more important, that the players and coaches are pawns in this thing. Mark, or wait a minute, Philly, it's true. They've won Super Bowls with 2 different organizations, basically, with Foles and with Wentz and with Doug. They went back and they got a Super Bowl and they've been to 2 with 2 other things. How do you not feel entitled and empowered knowing that you've done that twice where very few people have ever? The Cowboys haven't done that.
I'm sure the GM feels that way. I'm sure the owner feels that way. You know, it's weird because the A.J. Brown thing dies, and as soon as the A.J. Brown trade for the time being dies, here comes the attack on Hurts. And I'm not saying that it's false. I think there's some truth. There's truth mixed in with things that are bullcrap. And you got the coach the owner that gets up and talks in the press conference yesterday, right? And he talks about all the coaches they brought in that were great. Who's the one guy he doesn't mention? Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
I find that kind of interesting, to be honest with you. I don't know what the exact connection is, but I think there could be more going on than we know on the surface.
You think this is AJ's people behind the scenes with Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus?
I don't know, but I tell you what, yesterday seemed like the biggest A.J. Brown love fest that you saw. You saw Howie Roseman, you saw Lurie. Everybody was kissing A.J. Brown's ass. You know, Lurie sitting there saying that, we got 2 number ones and, the best combination out here. And it was so much. And sometimes when you get that much sugar on somebody, there's something else going on behind the scene. I'm going to throw out a crazy theory out here. Knowing that the Eagles fired a head coach after he finally won a Super Bowl, getting rid of Andy Reid, would it be crazy if they tried to get rid of Jalen Hurts?
it wouldn't be crazy, in my opinion, if they got rid of Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts. I mean,
I can't argue. We've seen the Eagles do it before.
Do you believe?
Yeah.
Do you believe Philly?
Something.
Philly, do you believe that Jalen is at a crossroads this year with this team?
I would have said before the article no, but now with the article, you got to wonder what's going on, and a lot of it is depending upon who the source is that we'll never know. I think that, and I said this to you last week, I think the great thing about this year coming up with Mannion is we're going to finally see. We're going to see if that's all the case. If all these things are the truth, we're going to find out. Before I came on here, one of the things I did is I went on ChatGPT. I went and looked to Grok, and I looked up stuff about what Jalen Hurts has expressed and times that he has complained and things that his side has said. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no complaining. There's no stories or Hurts people said Hurts feels this way about the coach or the offense. Nothing. It's always one-sided. So we just got to remember in this whole thing, we're only hearing one side of the story. We're only hearing with one source or a couple sources that may have an axe to grind with the guy. We just don't know.
And quite frankly, the two authors, of course, hey, by the way, Mark, as you know, and I believe, and I know Philly, in this article, the Eagles declined to comment for this story. Mannion is 33, entering his third season as an NFL coach, and first as an OC. ESPN interviewed more than a dozen sources and pulled back the curtain on what's ailing the Eagles' offensive situation and multiple players that they had reached out to, an anonymous source. So again, you tell me. I mean, here's one thing that I thought was really kind of wild in this. You never know what's going to be the play coming out of the huddle because Hurts changes the play so much. I mean,
okay. So this is the other thing that bothers me. Okay, okay. So Hurts changes the plays. So every time there's a bad play, it was Hurts that changed the bad plays is the insinuation. However, when Kellen Moore was the coach, there was friction. But Kellen Moore stood up to him, and they settled and compromised. And they were actually, 11th? They were the 11th team using motion and stuff like that, right? They were ranked 11th. So Hurts was willing to compromise with Kellen Moore. He loves Steichen. Both those guys going to get head coaching jobs. Patullo and the other guy, they're gone. So to me, if Hurts is so bad, then how did Kellen Moore get him to do things that he wanted that made them ranked 11th in a year?
Mark, let me go here and ask you this then. How about this? What he just said, my takeaway would be Jalen Hurts doesn't have any respect for some of the guys that when Nick hires his buddies and brings his buddies in, then
and I can't blame him.
When Steichen is coaching, because Steichen coached Phillip Rivers, when you had a guy like Kellen Moore who had a number one offense in Dallas, those guys, again, were experienced play callers, and the other guys were not. I think this is a respect thing. I don't think he respects Nick Sirianni.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
And what did Nick Sirianni do when Jalen Hurts said, what about 4 verticals? He didn't override him and say, that's a bad call. We're not doing that. This is what we're going to do.
Let me disagree slightly because, see, I know Kellen Moore was there, Super Bowl champion and stuff, but you had literally everything go right. Saquon was a better running back last year. Your offensive line was stout, okay? So things went along really good. It's kind of like the old saying that when you've got money, you got lots of friends. When you don't, they don't come around. This year, you had challenges where maybe Saquon had lost a step. Your offensive line is in flux. Kelsey being gone finally caught up to him. So now it's more on Jalen Hurts. And what it may be is Nick Sirianni is feeling the pressure and thinking, if I can make him the bad guy, maybe I can save my own ass. He's uncoachable. Yeah. We've got the plays and things, and he goes out there and he changes it up. And that's where, when shit hits the fan, I'm going to try and save my ass. Fuck you. Excuse my language.
How about this?
And that's, that's exactly.
How about this? Maybe Hurts, maybe he performs better when he's got tense coaches in his face. Because he said the relationship between Kellen Moore and him was a tense relationship.
But he respected Moore.
Look at the places. Yeah, respect Moore. Well, when he was with Saban, all these guys. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, you know what intense is? Coach Jimmy Johnson looking you in the face going, sit your ass down.
Shoo.
I mean, maybe he performs better with that. Wasn't there a line in that article also that said there were too many yes men around him?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a real issue with the coach in that, like that last play. Jalen Hurts isn't the coach. He shouldn't be calling a play there. 4 verticals and they go with it. The coach they said they didn't make any effort to fight Jalen Hurts on that last play call. Now everybody's going to ride Hurts for making that play call, but he's just a quarterback suggesting a play. Why didn't the coach override him with some common sense? See, I think this is about the coach. I don't think you have a coach that he respects too much. I don't think he respected Patullo. I think he respected Steichen. I think he respected Kellen Moore. And, Saquon Barkley was there and we won the Super Bowl. And that running game hid and masked a lot of these issues. But at the same time, 2 years ago when they were 10-1, the same issues on offense started to creep up. They collapsed. Same thing happened. The year before that, they go to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. So to me, I have to wonder about a lot of. I don't challenge, and I don't believe the guys that wrote the article are lying or doing a hit piece. Like I don't feel that's what they're doing. But the source that they're using, I really wonder about their motivations.
I gotta say, Mark, for the first time in 20 years. I can't remember the Dallas Cowboys offseason being so quiet and watching the Eagles and all this stuff going on. AJ, now this dossier that comes out on the character of the quarterback in Philadelphia. How are Cowboy fans taking that article? What are the people that are Cowboy fans? What are they saying about the Eagles?
You know what? I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening. I said this about 6 months or so ago. The Eagles have become the new media darlings for being picked on. Because they've kind of moved on the Cowboys. It's not so much fun. It's the Eagles drama that's now moving the needle. I don't know if this is, maybe blown out of more than what it really is. I mean, there's always some friction between quarterbacks, receivers, and coaches and things. Of course it is. And this may be an article that's been kind of shaded to make it sound worse than it is because, it used to be you talk about the Cowboys, everybody's going to watch. And now everybody's looking for the car crash and rubbernecking what's going on with the Eagles.
It just shows you how irrelevant the Dallas Cowboys have been in 30 years, right? I mean, if people are moving off them because there's nothing to talk about, it just shows you how irrelevant.
Yep,
and I got to say this also. I mean,
but there is a cure for that.
Is thrown under the table. We're talking about stuff about like this stuff right here. If Dak Prescott was held to the same,
oh my God! Whoa! Fuck you, man! No, bro! Hold the hell on. We had the media counting interceptions in practice, okay? We had Dak Prescott lighting up Trayvon Diggs all practice and everything else. Runs past him for a touchdown, and the man says, shut your bitch ass up after getting burnt. And everybody's talking about, nobody likes Dak Prescott. They disrespecting him. Don't give me that shit. Because I tell you what, my quarterback is out working out with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Is your guy out there working out with HA right now these days? Are they hanging out together?
The only person that holds Dak Prescott accountable is his ex-fiance.
Oh,
don't do anything. That's the truth.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
Who do you think? Wait a second. I'll ask.
Why is Trix keep saying I'm having a meltdown? Dude, you haven't seen a meltdown if you think this.
I tell you what, you look a little bit nervous there, Philly. You're kind of moving around and you're rubbing your face.
Who do you think gets more media criticism, Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, come on.
Jesus.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Shit. Oh,
Silk,
man.
are you kidding me?
You know what?
Oh,
Here,
You're joking,
wait,
right?
No.
You're
You know what I'm
joking.
going to say?
You're joking.
Okay, watch this. Dak Prescott gets criticism for playoff losses. Jalen Hurts gets criticism.
Where? Who criticized him?
Wait. Let me finish.
Who?
Dak gets criticized for playoff losses. Jalen gets criticized for his play.
Okay. Yeah. Jalen Hurts gets criticized.
What are we talking about here?
Really? So Dak gets criticized for playoff losses?
You criticize him every time.
I'm the only one.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, bro.
Are you talking
Come
about
on, man.
he gets criticized for playoff losses? You mean his play in playoff losses?
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
We're talking about Jalen Hurts' play. Or we're talking about Dak Prescott's play.
Jalen Hurts doesn't have to carry the team every single game.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
Hey, Mark, is Jalen Hurts getting criticized right now for his play and his ability right now?
Yes.
Dak Prescott gets off the hook. I've never seen a fan base more easy on a guy. Dak Prescott.
So to be clear here, when the Cowboys have lost in the playoffs, everybody played great except for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott threw 10 interceptions in each one of those and let his teammates down. Because Zeke Elliott was rushing for 150 yards a game, right?
To one extreme.
Come on, man.
You just always do that to one extreme. Dak Prescott, the franchise quarterback in the playoffs, in games that matter, he always comes up small. Just like that Minnesota game where you guys were trying to get back in the playoff on and you go lose a J.J. McCarthy. Please.
And J.J. McCarthy is playing against a defense that literally gave J.J. McCarthy a fifth of his touchdown passes.
I'm going to agree.
Jalen Hurts
wait a second.
is the most criticized player.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to agree with you, but you have to look at, okay, if we want, Mark, go with me on this here. Listen, guys, if you're going to criticize Dak Prescott for choking in the playoffs, okay, he doesn't play great in a playoff game. I've never seen an article criticizing Dak for being a bad quarterback. Like, ever.
And being uncoachable.
Right, and you won't, because nobody will criticize.
I just read one.
No, Jalen Hurts. What's the Dak Prescott article?
What I'm saying is, I've never seen an article where anyone questioned the ability of Dak Prescott. Him melting down in postseasons, you're not wrong. Well, hang on. He doesn't play well. Let's just say that. He doesn't play well. I've never seen an article like that for being uncoachable and for not being able and being limited for Dak Prescott. I've never seen an article on Dak like that.
I don't think you're going to see any articles criticizing him in any form or fashion because they have given him a pass since the beginning.
You don't wait, Dak. Are you saying that Dak's not a good quarterback?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Dak has gotten, for the standard in which people hold quarterbacks up to,
okay,
he has never been held to that standard. Because
bullshit, man.
Including Jalen Hurts.
Oh, you are so full of it, man.
A much harder standard to have that kind of playoff record after 11 years.
Always trade Dak. Oh, Andy Dalton. There's no difference between Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott. In Rush, we trust that the Cowboys be better off moving on from Dak Prescott and having Cooper Rush as their quarterback. Come on, man. Come on. I got people now saying Sam Howell. We could let go Dak and we'd be okay with Sam Howell.
Nobody with brains is saying that's like people saying put Tanner McKeon. I mean, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
That's just people in a chat speaking.
Listen, but Mark, one thing I will say
Skip Bayless,
about Dak,
Colin Cowherd.
I've never seen an article criticizing Dak in the pocket.
Nope.
Like ever. But I see articles all the time about Jalen, and we just witnessed this. And one came out today that it's like one of the longest articles I've ever seen on a quarterback who's as much of a winner. And to you, Philly, let me say this. Okay, do you think why is everyone doing this? Who gives a shit how it looks? It's not how you drive, it's how you arrive. Why are people caring so much with the cosmetics of it? You're 50-18 in 4 years. Massive success. Why is the quarterback getting criticized so much?
I mean, I don't get it. And the only thing I think, sometimes I really believe this, is I believe that there's a deflection with the head coach and some of his weaknesses and inefficiencies. And the offensive coordinator, who was his best friend, if you look how he responded in press conference, I feel like a lot of this is done to attack a guy who they know is not going to come back and fire back or say anything in the media, and is just going to let whatever go out there. And they do it to save their own ass, because I think the coaching is really been the biggest problem. I'm sorry, but as all the things that we're talking about with Jalen Hurts, why did the coach allow a lot of these things to happen? Why can't you stand up to the quarterback and say, no, we're not doing this. This is what we're going to do. So to me, it comes back at the end of the day to another coaching problem. It's the same coach.
You think it's a head coaching problem there, Mark?
Here's what I'm going to say, okay? In the same way, Sam Darnold, I don't know if you look and say Sam Darnold is just that they won a Super Bowl because of Sam Darnold, or because you look at it and say that they're a complete team. The Eagles, you won that Super Bowl because you could run the football and you had the threat of being able to run the football. You had a great offensive line. You had 2 great wide receivers. You had an incredible defense. It's a team sport. And see, unfortunately, the Cowboys are the polar opposite of that, where it's a couple of guys that are really good, that are Pro Bowlers, a few All-Pros and things, and it's not a complete team. And it may be one of those things where they look and they say, we have such a good team that maybe Jalen Hurts is kind of the weaker link in here, and maybe we need to look elsewhere. Or maybe we can look elsewhere for something that's cheaper.
Well, Seattle just won a Super Bowl with a $30 million quarterback.
That's what I'm saying, because they had a great team.
Now, I want to ask you guys this question here. A couple more here left here. So, Mark, and I'll go Philly, and I'll ask you. And I did this to Xander, and I want to see where you guys are on this. You guys think Phil Jackson is a great coach, Mark? You think he's a great coach? 12 NBA championships.
Kind of. If it's all about winning the championships, you got to say he's a great coach.
Okay. What about you, Philly?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Won in multiple places.
When you have Michael Jordan and you have Shaquille O'Neal and you have Kobe Bryant, and you say turn and shoot, and then when you're asked to go and build a team in New York, and you're asked to coach that team and build that team in New York, and you fall flat on your face, is it about the talent around the coach, or is it about the coach that can build the team around him, like what Jimmy did in Dallas when you were a Dallas Cowboy fan, watching all those guys being built, bringing in his own coaching staff? So is a coach a product of the talent around him, or is it the coach? Because I saw Kyle Shanahan with a JV team beat the Eagles, and that was great coaching. To me, I see great coaching. I see great coaching, and sometimes I see coaches like Philly just said. I mean, for Verts, how come the coach didn't just do this? We're going to run the ball. I would rather have had them run the ball on 4th and something like right there than throw within triple coverage. Where was the coaching? Right. So my question is to you, Mark. Is Sirianni a product of the talent around him? Or is he a good coach?
I think it's the talent around him. I look at it and say, I honestly, after that Super Bowl last year that you won, I looked at that and said, that's the closest team that I've seen like the 90s Cowboys, where you looked at it and say, where's the weakness? Where's the weakness? Because you were good at every level of the field. And it's a lot easier to coach, like for Norv Turner, when he had Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, the best offensive line in football, and Alvin Harper, a Jay Novacek, and a Troy Aikman. Hell, I'd look like a great coach if I had that kind of talent.
Philly's Eagles that year in 24, their greatness covered their deficiencies.
Yes.
So do you think the talent level that Howie's put around Nick is a benefit of the room, isn't he?
I do.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I honestly do. I honestly do. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I feel like this is our version of Barry Switzer. You know, I do, because I feel like he had a ton of talent. Now, I do think there's some things Nick does good with, maybe managing the players and personalities. But, you know, there are certain things that he does that he gets away with that I don't think on a lesser talented team you could get away with. And I think it all blew up when you saw his attitude with going after that second seed, and the way he was so dismissive and was the only coach in the league that didn't care about possibly being a second seed instead of a third. I thought it showed a lot about him. I think, why do you have a team that collapses those, right? You go to the Super Bowl and you're 10-1. You're 10-1 and you have a historic collapse. Then you come back and you win a Super Bowl. But then the next year you have a kind of like a minor
junior collapse.
Yeah. And to me, that's coaching.
Listen, when that Super Bowl season, when you looked at the talent on the Cowboys versus the Eagles, or the Commanders versus the Eagles, or the Giants, it was like varsity versus JV. You guys were loaded and you stayed healthy. That makes a difference in things. It's a lot easier when you have everything. You had two great receivers and a great tight end and a great running game. If I'm a defensive coordinator, am I going to put 8 men in the box to try and Saquon and let A.J. Brown kill me downfield? What am I going to do? How do you stop that? And you don't have to be great as a quarterback when you have that situation. Unfortunately,
see, we're having two conversations. We're talking about the coaching, and he's talking about Dak Prescott.
Listen.
You are.
I'm saying when you have problems, when you start losing players, when the running game isn't working well, that's when the coaching comes in and makes a difference, where you can figure out, okay, here's what we can do since Saquon is only getting 50 yards. Here's what we can do to beat this coverage. And here's the matchup that we're looking for. And you didn't have that last year. When your shit wasn't working and coaches making adjustments, you weren't scoring the second half of games.
Every quarterback has their weakness. They have their limitations, right? One of the things that I feel like hurts, that people have to say and have to admit, even his haters, is that he performs well in clutch situations. He's that kind of quarterback. His best games come when there's pressure on him. So I kind of like that this came out in a way, because these are the kind of things that Hurts feeds on. But he does great in pressure situations in big games. His best 2 games of his career were the Super Bowl. He came one drive away from winning a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley on the team. So I believe that he has that part of him. But there are deficiencies he's got to work on. There are things he's got to get better at. And he needs coaching that is willing to make sure that they challenge him the right way without just saying, we'll do whatever you say.
Mark, last one here for you. Give me your sense of what you're thinking about Myles Garrett. Do you really believe that they're going to try to do everything they can to possibly make a trade for him? Maybe the Raiders and John Spytek are still taking calls, for Max Crosby. I mean, do you still think there's a pre-move before the draft, or maybe even a post-June move for you? Because I'm going to go to Philly here in a minute, because I think the Eagles are going to have a big decision to make. There's 2 decisions to make for the Eagles. Are you picking up the option on May 15th of Nolan Smith? And are you going to make that trade June 1 for AJ? So I'm going to go to you here in a minute, Philly, on that. But what about it, Mark? You think the Cowboys make one big move before the draft? Or
I don't think the Cowboys will entertain doing that. They love their first-round picks too much. And if you go through the history of teams that have traded 2 number 1s, there's only one example where it's actually worked out, and that's when they traded Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey. They both gave up 2 number 1s. But if you look at all of them, from the Cowboys trying to get Joey Galloway, to the Colts trying to get Eric Dickerson, to Khalil Mack going to the Bears, it doesn't work out. And it ends up being a disaster in the long run. I'm hoping that the Eagles take 3 number 1s and get Myles Garrett. Do it. Do it. Because the defense isn't your problem. Your offense is.
Well, here. I made this up here. How about this, Philly? Okay, this is what I do. If it costs me 3 1s, I move out of the first round this year, go down to 32 or down there, collect 2 first rounds next year, trade A.J. Brown post June 1. I got 3 first rounders coming up next year. I cover my deal with Myles Garrett. And I get Myles Garrett on my team. I got better. If I move AJ and I get Myles, I get better with 3 1s next year. So, I mean,
I mean, I've already done videos on getting 3-1s, not necessarily for Myles, but loading up in that 2027 draft. I think if the Eagles get Myles Garrett, they're going back to the Super Bowl. I just keep it real. I also think if you could do it, and my only difference with you is if I could keep A.J. Brown, I would like to do that as well, because
so you think
can't
that
sit there and have an article today talking about a guy needs this and he needs that, and then take his best weapon. What does that help?
So you think that relationship is not beyond repair? A.J.
No,
Brown.
I don't believe we're in a situation that if AJ's not traded, he's going to be doing push-ups in the driveway. I don't think it's going to be like that kind of situation. And I prefer to keep him. But, I always go back to what is the compensation. Because if you're talking a first-round pick, then I say do it. But if we're talking second and fourth, second and third, there's no chance. No chance.
Philly, one of my favorite videos of all time.
Right, yeah. I know. Now we get it on a weekly basis with Mark.
I mean, hey, Mark, I got to tell you, man, you look how happy you are. You're just so, Philly, look at him.
Please just remember, Sills. Remember this moment in December.
Oh, boy.
Okay, when the Christmas tree is off.
You better hope that the Cowboys aren't good next year and the Eagles are bad.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh, you won't want me to come in here every week and the Cowboys are lighting people up.
Oh, I know how Cowboy fans are when you guys are winning. I had a deal with the 90s. I remember. But I'll say this.
He just went.
I'll tell you this. I think the Cowboys need Max Crosby. I think that's what moves the needle. Like, I look at what they did. And I don't really think they moved the needle that much. They got a little bit better, but a Max Crosby deal, or Myles Garrett,
you don't think like that. You don't think keeping that offense intact got them better? I do.
Who? Dallas? How can you get? How does it make you better when you already were?
Okay, then how does Myles Garrett move the needle for you? The same thing can be said about your defense.
Rashad Gary, you had Rashad Gary. He's an 8-sack guy. He's not a bad. I'll tell you what,
he's not a bad guy, but
Rashad Gary's just as good as Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, but what did they just lose? How many sacks did what's his face have for you guys?
Clowney had 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's a loss for sure.
Right. So to me, you're just replacing an 8-sack guy with an 8-sack guy.
Our defensive line. Okay, here's what I'll say. Our defensive line, interior defensive line, is definitely going to be stout for once. You have Donovan Iraku, who I think is going to take a step. I know he had the hip surgery, but he's actually looked like he's put on some more weight and looks really, really good. We don't know what we're going to do in the draft, and the Cowboys definitely, for once, are talking about trying to get a linebacker. They've called about Brooks in Miami and things like that, and Jerry
Styles.
Well, we'll see if he falls there or if they decide to move up on that.
Or move up. You go get Styles. You put that guy in that Cowboy defense with that 4-4-3 at 6'5", and you put that game tape on. That guy is a sandbox guy.
He's a beast. He's good.
He would be.
He's one of the sandbox guys in the draft. Mm-hmm. There's like 6 of them, and he's one.
Yeah, there's not many. That's why I like the idea of like if the
trading
Eagles,
down.
Yeah, not just trading down, but trading and making sure you get a first next year. I have no problem loading up with first-round picks next year with the amount of quality coming out. I think the Eagles got to go offensive line in the first round if they keep the pick. But I do think Dallas, to me, if Dallas got Max Crosby or Myles, I think you could say that team has gotten a lot better because their offense is already good, but it's their defense that has to get better. See, and for the Eagles, the reason I think like a Myles Garrett would completely would send the Eagles back to Super Bowl was because I think that defense would be really, really good. I mean, they were already good. And Jalen Phillips, if you look at what he did to help improve that team on that edge, was fantastic. You had a guy like a Garrett to play with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Holy crap. I think if you have a chance, and I'm not saying the Eagles are going to do it, but I'm going to say if you have a chance to do something like that, you got to take a shot, dude. It's like you got to take a shot. I just think that a guy like that is a generational player. He comes about how often. You have to do it. And I do think that the Browns are trading him. I do not believe the Browns are not trading him. I don't know where he's going, but he's getting traded.
Hey, Mark, what's the shirt?
Oh, shirt. Win the whole effing thing.
Win the whole effing thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Major League reference.
I like it. Hold yourselves to those standards, buddy.
We're trying. Hey, for something to happen, you got to first believe that it can happen. That's the first step.
Well, you got the. I mean, you don't think getting a guy like Crosby or Garrett?
I agree. And especially if they can get Crosby at a discount, because he's probably not going to be ready until July or August. And so at that point, you might end up getting him.
But that meniscus injury, I wouldn't sweat that thing, man. I know guys who played without both of them. I wouldn't sweat that shit. I think what the Ravens did was bullshit. Okay, and to me, meniscus injury, dude. Mm-hmm. Okay, we had Dr. Chow on it. Dr. Chow said his was like replacing the sod versus mowing the sod. He goes, it just takes a little more time and recovery. I've had my meniscus shaved. He had his meniscus replaced. That's a little deeper, but you can play with it. It's just a comfort level. And you put Crosby on that defense on the other side of Rashad Gary.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and Quentin Williams in the middle. Yeah. Then you get maybe a Styles in there somewhere. Bro, you're rocking.
Mm-hmm. That would move the needle to me when I look at the Cowboys. It really
look
would.
At Mark right there. Can you hey Philly, the worst thing that would happen is if that team wins 13 games this coming year, this guy would be unbearable. If that guy all games,
I know until December.
Exactly. Until that playoff interception.
And to answer Xander's question earlier when he was talking about the 96 win against the Eagles, the divisional round. That was for the 95 season. That was January 7th.
Okay.
On that.
Okay.
So that was the Super Bowl year.
That was a horrible day. That was a blizzard. It was a giant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to inflict any more pain on you.
That was a blizzard in Dallas?
No, in Philly, we had a blizzard there. You're talking about that's the last Reggie White game, right? Where he played New Orleans. They beat New Orleans. That was when they were playing JB99, bringing home for Jerome, and they go to Dallas, and Dallas was on the way up, and they beat the crap out of us, and it was blizzard.
Reggie's last year in Philly was 96.
No, I don't think it was 96.
95.
95.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was out of high school and I was stuck at my cousin's, and it was a blizzard.
Jerome died in 92. Reggie played 3 more years there. Huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was only 2 more, but okay.
Everybody doesn't realize Reggie played most of his career in Philly.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it was a shorter stay, and it was a shorter stay in Green Bay.
And how old was he when he went to Green Bay? I don't remember. He had to be like 32 years old. 32 or something like that. And he still had 4 good years left.
Remember, though, he played 2 years in the USFL.
In the USFL. Yeah.
With the Birmingham Stallions before he got there. And so he got in the NFL. He was already like 23, 22 years old when he left Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about that line, Mark? Mark, what the hell are you laughing at, man?
I'm just so happy that that I ended up being here on your show. I enjoy this every week, and I'm so happy that I've stayed. I'm just happy to be here.
Happy at mediocrity.
Philly, do you see that everybody's melting down in Philly right now over this article right now? You understand?
I know, and I see people saying that I'm melting down, and I'm really not melting down. But I look. There's truth to the article, and we have to accept it. But there's also a lot of other stuff in that article to, I think, make Jalen Hurts look unfairly bad.
Mark, can I make an observation about Philly?
What's that?
Because this article came out, boy, he's explained a lot. today.
I'm just wondering where the Dak glasses are and things. I haven't seen that kind of stuff in a while.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. I mean,
what do you mean? I complained a lot. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Well, I think you've I think this article's made you think a little bit about her.
Of course. It has to. You have to think about what the hell is going on. I mean, look, we know.
You're right. It's a Nick thing. You're right. It's a Nick thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I think the one thing people are missing, I think this really falls more back on Jalen Hurts too. But I also think the coach is showing you that he is not doing a good enough job. Because why do you let a player walk all over you like that? It just is hard for me to understand. I think about the beginning of the article and how they're talking about how Patullo's calling plays and then Jalen Hurts chimes in and they're all looking at each other. And he goes 4 verticals. And Nick just goes, all right. Yeah, let's, it's like.
Can you imagine?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Can you imagine if Dak called 4 verts?
Oh, they'd be killing him. They'd kill him.
They kill Hurts.
They kill him anyway.
They would say, "Oh no, the receiver slipped on the route," or "Oh no."
Hey!
It wouldn't
Mark,
be Dak's fault.
Did you hear the new nickname?
What's the new nickname
for Hurts?
What's that?
4 verts Hurts.
Oh. Oh shit.
Mark, make that a shirt.
Mark, is that going to be a video? 4 verts Hurts?
That might be 4 verts Hurts.
4 verts. Oh my god.
Guys,
see, and that's crazy to me. Where's the coach in all that, dude? Seriously. Why didn't the coach say, no, we're not running 4 verts? Sorry, Jalen. Something else.
4th and 11, triple coverage. I don't get it. Guys, Mark, I can't wait to see the new videos. I see you all over the place everywhere. And Philly,
man.
Woo, baby. Man, I think that article was an eye-opener even for you a little bit here. I'm not saying that you didn't know some of it, but to hear that a guy potentially could be uncoachable, I mean, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Listen, if you're talking about a scale of 10, I probably believe that as a 6. There's, like you said, some truth to it. Do I believe that he's completely uncoachable? Absolutely not. You don't get that far and win that many games being uncoachable.
No.
That's completely ridiculous and impossible to do that, okay? But look at Mark Holmes.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Look at him. This guy's drunk with the Eagle misery.
Oh, that's fine.
He's just
only March.
So this is what it's like being an Eagle fan, right? Just crapping on other people.
We don't crap on anybody. We always got our own thing going on. We don't need to worry about anybody else.
Guys, I appreciate you very much, and it's my favorite segment. It's my favorite. Thank you, guys, for staying on a little longer. Appreciate you very much.
Have a nice day, Philly.
Yeah. Oh, my God, man. That was good. Let me read some of these comments here. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Please hit the like button. Philly doesn't have good arguments today. His Mohawk Jalen got ripped in the article, and he has to sit there and take it for now. Damn. All right?
Damn.
See here. 2 wild card wins for Dak. My only problem with the conversation we had was I've never heard anybody ever rip Dak Prescott for his ability. Like ever. Ooh. Hey, watch this. If you want to go down that lane, Dak chokes in playoffs. Dak hasn't played good in the playoffs. Okay? I've never heard somebody say this. He sucks as a player and a quarterback. That article was a question of how he sees the game, how he reads defenses, how he doesn't like motion, how he doesn't like to have his back turned to the defense. None of that ever is questioned with Prescott.
Damn. Sounds like RG3.
It's never. Well, good. Jalen Hurts and Wentz have a lot in common.
Wow.
They paid Hurts too early. It'd have cost about the same after 23. Might have got such a big head.
Wow.
That's because Jerry Jones, all the media that covers the Cowgirls. Okay? A lot of Dallas Cowboy media.
Go ahead. It ended right there. Let me say, wow. I didn't know. I didn't know about the article. I was overworking and got some paint and stuff on my hands and things. I was working. I didn't know that came out. But I still will say that maybe that's an April Fool's. Maybe that is the biggest April Fool's joke ever. Okay, it might be April Fool's joke. That's what I'm telling you. That all of a sudden they're going to come out and say, "Hey, we fooled the hell out of you," and then of course they're going to get bitch slapped because they say that's too close. That's too much, man. But if that is true, wow, that's kind of crazy. So we'll see what we're going to see. Holly, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Oh man, I didn't do much. I was just kind of here, so I didn't get fined. I mean, it was kind of like.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Whew.
Is this not why you were here?
Shout out to all of you. Blackheart, Holly Pierce, lovely Linda. What's up, Linda and Holly? Luis Mendendez. What's going on? Nada 2.0. Cowherd destroys Hurts. I apologize, Holly. 2 Super Bowls. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel when I don't exist at that time. Wow. Dropping it hard there. But I appreciate everybody being here. A Crown, Wiseton in here, Andrew Tiger, Tippy 20. Wow. Appreciate you guys. And we're going to get out of here and, enjoy your April Fool's Day. Enjoy. I've had a great April Fool's. I'm not going to lie. I had a great one because people are still falling for them.
You give up 100, when you give up 70 points in the first half, you're not kidding. What are you doing?
I'm fixing my seat. I'm fixing my seat.
What is Kenny doing?
I'm fixing my seat. But I did not do that.
Fixing your seat.
I did not do that.